Hello everyone, this is Pooka and welcome to another edition of Bad Deck Monday, where we take a look at some fun ideas, put them into action, and see if we can get them to work. Today's idea is going to be one that we've kind of used in the past with the Raticate from Plasma Storm, but we're going to update the concept with, it's going to be very much so more Bad Deck Monday than it was before. And that's because we're going to be focusing on Doublade instead. So Doublade is this stage 1 Pokemon, evolves from a Honedge, has the attack False Swipe. So you flip a coin, if heads, you put damage counters on your opponent's active Pokemon until its remaining HP is 10. Alright, now this is very similar to Raticate Super Fang, which does that effect automatically. The difference is this only costs 2 energy, and, this one has to flip a coin. So the trade-off is, for 1 less energy, you have to flip a coin, and it's a very bad trade-off, but that's what makes it Bad Deck Monday. So we're going to combine False Swipe with Hypnotoxic Laser. It'll poison your opponent's active Pokemon, and that way when you put them down to 10 HP in between turns, the poison damage will knock out the defending Pokemon. Almost a one-hit knockout, that's essentially the goal, but you put them down to 10 HP, the poison finishes them off, all with just 1 False Swipe. So obviously, False Swipe is a coin flip, which means we're going to have to bring in the good old Victini. Victory Star allows you to re-flip your coins for any coin flipping attack. Just attacks though, so nothing like re-flipping for laser or any other effects like that, just attacks. And you can only use 1 Victory Star per turn. But what it does do is give you an extra opportunity to flip that heads. Instead of a 50-50 chance, you get 2 chances at that Victory Star, or at that False Swipe, thanks to Victory Star. So this is just a natural combo here. Doublade and Victini. Now, another funny thing that could happen is Honedge here does have continuous slash. Flip a coin till you get tails, 30 damage times the number of heads. You never know, you could flip a bunch of heads. Get a weird knockout, flipping 6 heads and knock out an Yveltal EX. How awesome would that be? There is some synergy here with Honedge and Doublade, both with Victini. But we're also going to be playing one of the Metal Sound Honedge. You never know when you might have to confuse somebody. Throw some more coin flips into the equation. Now, attacking with Doublade all the time, probably not viable. You'll probably run out of resources. So we're going to enlist the services of Mew EX as well. Of course, as versatile, can use any attack in play as long as you have the energy for it. And with Mew EX and Dimension Valley, your attacks cost 1 less for your Psychic Pokemon. So now instead of having to use Double Colorless all the time, we can use Mew, Dimension Valley, and use False Swipe to we just cross out one of these colorless costs, and just for 1 energy we can False Swipe. So instead of having to use double colorless energy every time, we can now use metal energy, or any type of basic energy. I'm going to use metal just for the funny chance of continuous slash. We can use the False Swipe for 1 energy and make it a lot easier on ourselves. Make sense? Okay. So the laser False Swipe combo is going to be the focus, whether you want to attack with Doublade or use Mew to use Doublade's attack. Depending on the circumstance, you might want to do both. Other Pokemon we have here in the deck, Mr. Mime's just going to be great to block the bench if we need to do that. Jirachi, always good for some stellar guidance, and we do run Metal Energy, so you could Hypno Strike if you really wanted to. I have done it. And our last Pokemon is going to be Spinda. What in the world? Did I put this card in here on accident? No! Spinda has a purpose in this deck. So, we can look at the 2 attacks here. Staggering Steps could be useful. If heads, your opponent's Pokemon is confused. If tails, you're confused. That's not good. But, of course, with Victini, we get 2 opportunities to confuse a Pokemon. This is strictly worse than Metal Sound, which would automatically confuse your opponent's Pokemon. So, no, it's not for Staggering Steps. It's actually for Uproar. 10 damage to each of your opponent's Pokemon. So the idea is, if you ever do use False Swipe and you're unable to get a Hypnotoxic Laser with it, and let's say your opponent's Pokemon has 10 HP left or retreats to the bench, well, we can actually finish it off with an Uproar. And think about how funny it would be if you managed to get 2 Pokemon in range for, you got 2 false swipes off, 2 Pokemon on your opponent's field that had just 10 HP left. You can uproar and knock them both out. I just felt it was important to have something that could kind of target down one of your opponent's Pokemon, and Spinda seemed like the most Bad Deck Monday worthy card. Okay, so let's take a look at the rest of the trainers we have in the deck. We have 3 Hard Charm. We just want these to keep our Pokemon alive. A lot of them have low HP. Hard Charm could perhaps give us a chance to survive. Speaking of survival, Enhanced Hammer could slow down our opponent, and it's a beautiful gold Enhanced Hammer, so that makes it even cooler when it happens. Enhanced Hammer seems like a good card to throw in here. Just slow some stuff down. A lot of decks do run Special Energy, so maybe if you can make your opponent miss 1 attack, that can be a game changer. Our supporter cards for Professor Juniper, for N. We're going to go with the Chorus, the Lysander, the Shadow Triad, which can recover Hypnotoxic Laser, and we're going to throw in a Lysander's Trump card as well for pretty much the same purpose, where I can get back more Hypnotoxic Laser since it is such an important part of our strategy. 4 VS Seeker to recover any supporters we might need. 1 Computer Search just to search out whatever we may need. 2 Bicycle for some added draw support, non-supporter drawing. 4 Ultra Ball to search out the Pokemon. 1 Evo Soda just for a little boost and consistency, get the Doublade into play. 1 Gold Switch, just to switch. 1 Escape Rope. 1 Startling Megaphone, just in case we do run into Garbodor or something like that. And that's it. That is our Doublade, Victini, Mew, Mr. Mime, Jirachi, Spinda deck. But most of the time just Doublade and Victini and Mew. Alright, so this is obviously going to be a very unreliable deck, but that's what makes it so fun to watch. So let's go ahead and jump into a game I played on Pokemon TCG Online and see if we can pull something off. We see a mulligan from my opponent, a bunch of Psychic Energy, a Scoop Up, Cyclone, Gengar, Spirit Link, Silent Lab. What is happening? I have no idea what's going on right now. But looks like we're going to get a couple mulligans here. Bench the second Honedge, and alright. There is a Gengar EX and a Vulpix on the bench. Oh boy, Silent Lab being locked into play with Ninetales. That could be pretty devastating for our poor Victini. It's going to make our deck a lot less reliable with those flips on false swipe. So something to look out for. Alright, so I have an interesting hand. I definitely want to get Victini down. He's a pretty big part of the strategy. And certainly going to play an Ultra Ball. So we'll go ahead and discard the Startling Megaphone and Ultra Ball and hope that Jirachi's in here. And thankfully, Jirachi EX is in the deck. You can see just how good Jirachi is. We're made this otherwise unplayable hand into a beautiful hand with a supporter. So we can go ahead and use Stellar Guidance, search out that Professor Juniper. My opponent didn't play a supporter card, so I don't want to use an N here. Put that DCE on the bench, Honedge, and then draw a fresh 7 cards. I got a pretty solid 7. We got a Computer Search, VS Seeker if we need that, an N. Got a Mew I can throw down, a second Victini if you want to do that, but I think for this turn I'll just bench the Mew and pass. Now, Mew is going to be really bad against this kind of a deck because, well, he's weak to Psychic. So, if Gengar EX uses Dark Corridor and moves to the bench, it will do 120 damage and knock out Mew EX, even more so with that Muscle Band. So, Mew not going to be great, but again, it's just it'll be a 1 energy attacker with that Dimension Valley in play. And unfortunately, I did give Dimension Valley to my opponent's Gengar, and now he'll be able to Dark Corridor and knock out my poor Honedge. So that's a bit of a bummer, but oh well, we'll deal with that, I suppose. So we do see an Ultra Ball from my opponent getting rid of a Mega Gengar and a Manectric and a VS Seeker for a Manectric EX. Shauna for 5, another Manectric coming out. So starting to see what this is now. Gengar Manectric kind of deck, probably Manectric to cover Gengar's weakness. Makes a little bit of sense, I suppose. And there's the Dark Corridor. Goodbye, sweet Honedge, you didn't last very long. Okay. So here, I could promote Mew. I think I'm going to go with the Honedge. Doublade is going to be a little tougher for my opponent to knock out, so I think we'll go with that for the time being, especially with this hard charm and the psychic resistance. It's going to be difficult for Gengar to knock out Doublade, so we'll start off with a computer search, and definitely just going to grab Doublade, and that way we can get it into play. And then if I draw Hypnotoxic Laser and hit the false swipe, we can get a knockout of our own turn 2. So here we go, Juniper, and hoping to find something we do not have. No Hypnotoxic Laser, but we do have a Bicycle. Could dig a little bit deeper to try to find that laser. So here we go, Ultra Ball for a second Honedge. Put it down, put the hard charm on it, and Bicycle for 2. No good. All right. So false swipe. All right, we hit the heads. That's a good thing, and that'll put the Manectric EX up to 160 damage. But without that laser, don't get the knockout. And the other bummer is Manectric can Mega Evolve, which would bring its HP higher and would bring it out of range of something like that Spinda that we have in the deck, so that's going to be a little bit annoying. It would even take it out of range for me to copy Gengar's Night Attack to put 3 damage counters. So not having the laser was a really, really big deal there. Big missed opportunity, but now we'll have to see what my opponent can do. Like I said, Doublade can survive an attack from Gengar, even though it has a Muscle Band. We do resist Psychic, do have the Hard Charm, so Dark Corridor only doing 40 right now. So even though Doublade only has 80 HP, it can withstand that attack. And my opponent either has to have a switching card or a Spirit Link and Mega Manectric, or perhaps just an energy to retreat, but needs something to get out of here. Otherwise, I don't know, that Manectric might be stuck and could be knocked out. I don't know. Could be a bit of an awkward spot for my opponent, I guess, is the point. All right. So I'm not really sure what my opponent's options are at this point, but, he's only up 1 prize. I do have 2 pretty weak EXs on my board, so that could be a problem later on, as we do see the Lightning Energy going on to the active Manectric EX. Lysander onto my benched EXs could be a problem eventually, so I think I have to find the right sequence of using my attackers. I might have to go with a Doublade, and then, maybe a second Doublade, and then a Mew. I don't know. It's going to be awkward, but we do see the Ultra Ball from Mega Manectric, so it is coming into play. All right, so that's how my opponent decided to use that turn. No supporter, so I'm going to go ahead via Seeker for the Juniper. Get a fresh hand of 7. Looking for a laser, folks. And what in the what? There is still no Hypnotoxic Laser. What is going on here? Oh, that is frustrating. Wow. Cannot believe we missed another Hypnotoxic Laser. That's really unfortunate. Oh, we've got 4 of them in the deck. 2 Juniper, 2 Whiffs. Ugh. Alright, well, we missed. Got to find something to do here. I don't think False Swipe is a good option right here. It just seems kind of silly to false swipe than get knocked out. I would almost just rather save the Doublade. You never know if my opponent could just play a max potion and heal it all off. So I think either a switch or an escape rope would be the way to go here. Switch, just kind of sacrifice something. Escape rope might be a little better here. Could force my opponent into making a mistake, or force my opponent into thinking I have something that I don't. Right? If my opponent thinks I might have a way to knock out Gengar, maybe won't promote that. Maybe will force my opponent to, burn more resources just to get a Pokemon out of the active spot. So yeah, Vulpix is coming out. And in this situation, I think we can just sacrifice a Victini. We do have 2 of them. I definitely don't want to use False Swipe on a Vulpix, especially if we don't have the laser to back it up. So just going to pass the turn. It's an unfortunate way that these past few turns have turned out. I mean, no laser both turns, but we just have to deal with it, I suppose. And we do see a head ringer coming down onto Mew. That's going to cancel out the effect of Dimension Valley. A little bit annoying, but it's not the end of the world. Another Mega Manectric coming out. This is getting very intimidating. Hey, Gengar coming into the fray again. We can see the Dark Corridor happening. And I'll be curious to see what my opponent switches into. Looks like, okay, the Mega Manectric with no damage on it. Okay, so this is another big opportunity for me, I think. If we can find that Hypnotoxic Laser this turn and get a knockout, that would be a very, very big deal. So let's take a look. I could VS Seeker for an N in this situation. Wouldn't be a bad choice. Or Chorus for 8. I feel like that might be the way to go. We really need to find a laser now. And alright, finally we found one. Got an Evo Soda for the Doublade. Get that down on the board. And let's go Hypnotoxic Laser. Don't need the heads on that. We need the heads on the False Swipe. Could even bench Spin if I really wanted to. But here we go. False Swipe. We need a heads, folks. And boom, we got it. That'll bring the Mega Manectric down to 10 HP. And the Poison finishes it off. So effectively a one-hit knockout with this little Doublade. 2 swords chopping Mega Manectric in half. Not really what happened, but sounds a lot cooler. Okay, so now we're at a very strange prize trade situation. So Mega Manectric will come out. Gengar cannot knock me out with Dark Corridor, so Mega Manectric going to have to be the weapon of choice. So it's going to be interesting because my opponent's going to take this 1 prize on Doublade, and then I can attack with Mew, which is 2 prizes, and then finish off the game with my other Doublade. And that's going to work in my favor, I think, because I just have to knock out 2 more EXs. My opponent only has EX attackers, apparently, and the prize trade is just going to work out. If we can manage to hit every false swipe, that'll be the problem. If we flip tails at any point, I think it's pretty much game over. But let's wishful thinking, right? Let's hope it doesn't come to that. Okay, so Mega Manectric coming out after the Professor Sycamore from my opponent. I'm pretty optimistic about the situation. It seems like we should, at the very least, bring this game down to coin flips, maybe. But there we see the Turbo Bolt Goodbye Doublade, and I will promote the Mew EX in this situation. I guess we can bench Spinda, just get him out of my hand. And then, here we go, just going to attach, we can actually attach a 3rd Metal Energy to Mew with the Dimension Valley canceling out the Head Ringer. We don't have to use a laser, we don't have to use a flip. Here we can use, we can either Slash or Hypno Strike. Those are the 2 options, and I'm certainly going to end my opponent here. Let's put him down to a lower hand size so there are no shenanigans knocking out my Doublade or anything like that. So here we go. Look at the options we have here. I don't think I'll ever use Slash again in my life, so I'm going to Slash for 60. Goodbye, Mega Manectric. Oh, yeah. But now we're still in a bit of a pickle. I don't have a Hypnotoxic Laser. So if my opponent uses Dark Corridor, switches into Vulpix, I could be in some trouble. We see another Head Ringer. It's going to be useless. Going on Jirachi, don't plan on using Hypno Strike, especially because most of my energy are gone. But yeah, if my opponent just switches into Vulpix, that's really problematic. If I would need to draw a Hypnotoxic Laser. Don't get me wrong, I've only used 1, but I don't have one in my hand right now. So it could turn into an awkward situation where I have to end my opponent down to a low hand size and myself as well, and it could get ugly, folks. Just gonna warn you. So another Manectric EX coming down. There's the Dark Corridor, 160 damage, and oh my goodness, my opponent actually switches into another Gengar EX. So this is it. This is the big opportunity. Oh, I even drew the laser for the turn, so looks like this is going to happen no matter what. This is going to come down to a flip, folks. So here we go. Hypnotoxic Laser Now I can at least play an end, though. Put my opponent down to a lower hand size. And here we go. False swipe, tails. Oh, no. All right, here we go. This is the flip to decide the game. Victory star. False swipe. Boom. Got it. Goodbye, Gengar. Oh, my goodness. The false swipe. Hypnotoxic laser combo. Finishing off Gengar EX. What in the world is going on? We missed those hypnotoxic lasers early on, but we hit all the false swipes. We got a slash knockout. I just don't know what's going on. But all that matters, folks, is Doublade gets the W. Oh my god, he's even the MVP. Look at that. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'll certainly have some more for you soon. I am Pooka from the Top Cut, and I'll see you guys next time.